Indian South Carolina, home to the Indian Warriors. After finishing the 2025 season 11-2,
the Warriors received an invite to the Keep Pounding Classic at Bank of America Stadium.
Arguably the most prestigious kickoff game in the Carolinas of right now. I figured now was the perfect time to make this type of video. Sit back and enjoy. You cannot start a video like this without dropping a little school history. The original Indian Land High School opened in 1980, but after some growth in the area, a new one was built in 2007 on the same property. The football field, named The Reservation, was built in 1974, and that is the first setting of today's story. Our timeline starts in December of 2016 when defensive coordinator Gerardo Blaze got a promotion to head coach. In the previous season, after moving up from 2A to 3A, the Warriors went an abysmal 2-10, losing to Newberry in the playoffs 35-6. Following that game, Michael Mayer resigned after serving 16 years as the head coach. Coach Blaze was an NFL player and an All-American linebacker at the University of Pitt. His staff matched his star power with assistant coaches Co Simpson and Ted Washington. They brought a new standard to the program, scheduling tough out-of-conference games and getting guys to buy in. This was the start of the grit and grind culture that the Warriors are known for. The Coach Blaze era only lasted 2 seasons. Some notable players from this era were
Dorian Williams,
Carl Ellis, A.J. Jefferson,
and Tyrese Star.
Overall, this group went 8-19 in those 2 seasons, winning a playoff game in 2018 before getting dismantled by a dominant Union County Yellow Jacket squad. After this season, Dorian Williams signed to play football at Tulane University, where he went on to get drafted by the Buffalo Bills, 91st overall. D-Roll became the first player from Indian Land High School to make it to the NFL. What will the next era of Indian Land football bring? 2021 was truly year number 1 of the Coach Hastings era, as we know it today. Coach Hastings changed the culture on the field while Coach David Harrison got team results in the weight room. Offensive coordinator and coach Nick Motto brought a modern RPO no-huddle offense to Indian Land, while Coach Moore installed a staple 4-3 defensive that Indian Land still runs today. I forgot to mention that during the COVID season, Indian Land moved up to 4A, joining a region with South Point, Catawba Ridge, Nation Ford, York, and Northwestern starting in 2022. The Warriors went 5-4 in 2021, but this roster was fun to watch and loaded with talent. On the offensive side, Bread and Butter was running the ball and throwing receiver screens. Quarterback Blake Good was really consistent in the short game, and the running back duo of number 4, Jaden Singletary and Kendrick Armstrong, wore down opposing defenses. The O-line headlined by 6'4", Jack Beecham and Elon Commit, Amarion McLeod. This unit moved the men against their will, clearing big holes for ball carriers. The most experienced group on this team was the senior receivers starting the slots. Number 3, Sean McRae, and number 1, Jeremiah Strickland, were electric playmakers with the ball in their hands. Both players showcased good game speed and the ability to make defenders miss in space. Number 16, Drew Harden, was the 5'11", 180-pound contested specialist X-receiver. Drew competed hard at the catch point winning vertical for the Warriors multiple times during the season. Junior Miles Stinson was a gadget player that lined up at Wildcat quarterback. The transfer from Northwestern High School was hungry to prove himself as a star. The last wild card on offense was backup quarterback number 20, Jackson Sheed. He will become very important this season. Defensively, that front 7 was scary. In the middle, freshman phenom number 44, Malachi Jefferson, disrupted game, while the edges 6'6", Jarice Breeden, and 6'2", JT Knight constantly got home, becoming a nightmare for quarterbacks and O-lines in the pass game. In the box, Dunkeli Adihan, Foster Lambert, and Anthony Rodriguez flew around punishing ball carriers. Safeties Miles Stinson and Drew Harden kept things in front of them, keeping the top on the cover 4 shell. Corner Stretch Knight and Jaden Peoples laid hard hits on anyone running towards the sidelines. 4 games summed up the Warriors season, and I'm going to start with week 1 against Nation Ford. the last game the high school ever played at the reservation. See, Indian Land grew to a 4A school for a reason. Rapid population growth, and with that came a new high school and a new football stadium. That Nation Ford game was the most memorable game of the season. That crowd was electric, with everyone coming to show support one last time in that historical stadium. The Warriors won against their rivals 34-27 on a walk-off touchdown catch by wideout Drew Harden in the back of the end zone. Gashing run by number 4 Jaden Singletary. Their first quarter ends 7-0 after some strong defense from the Tribe. The second quarter was all about defense, with the standout play being 25-yard pick six by Foster Lambert, putting Indian Land up 13-0 going into half. Nation Ford answers in on their second drive in the third quarter with a strike from quarterback Carson Black to put him on the board. This is just the beginning of the Warriors' third quarter collapse. Indian Land proceeds to fumble the kickoff, allowing Nation Ford to score a quick passing touchdown to take the lead. This isn't the end of the special team woes for the Warriors, as the muff the next kickoff on the 1-yard line, once again allowing Nation Ford to capitalize and extend their lead with another passing touchdown. With their backs against the wall, the Tribe needed to get something going in the fourth quarter. Touchdown on Jaden Singletary. The Warriors' defense slowed Nation Ford down, but ultimately gave up another passing touchdown the following drive. Big kick return by Jaden Singletary. Jet sweep touchdown, Sean McCray. Clock winding down, Nation Ford has trouble with the snap and gives the ball back to the Warriors. Blake Good launches a prayer to Drew Harden for the game-winning touchdown.
Sean McCray on the Wildcat. No one can bring him down. Young fella, run it. That is how you open a new stadium.
Absolutely, a big win right there for Indian Land.
Backup quarterback Jackson Sheets started this game for the Warriors after Blake got hurt during the Week 1 thriller against Nation Ford. This was Indian Land's first game on the new field at the new school.
Ramirez halfback screen. Jameer Dewberry going to 10, to 5, touchdown Broom, and that's 6 for Broom. Shite to Strickland, going deep, caught by Strickland, and that's a touchdown for Indian Land. Dewberry breaks a tackle, muscles his way in for 6 for Broom. Drew Harden takes over this drive, but the grown man catch to start this drive off. Another catch for Harden, makes a man miss, and goes to the sideline for a first down. Sean McCray splits two defenders, goes off to the left side, to the hash, runs, breaks another tackle, to the end zone for Indian Land. Miles Stinson lays the wood for a fumble. Drew Harden scooped up the football for a fumble recovery. Ramirez trying to make something happen, picked off on McCray down the sidelines. Jackson throws a laser over to Strickland. Shite picked off the middle by linebacker Connor Burrell. Ramirez throws a slant to Braxton Turner for a tough-looking touchdown. Halfback screen pass to Darian Cook, walking to the end zone untouched for a Broom touchdown. Stinson in the Wildcat formation takes it in untouched for an Indian Land touchdown. Kickoff to Darian Cook and takes it all the way for a Broom touchdown, untouched. This game is electric. Harden goes upstairs for another grown man catch. First down. Shite to Harden to the back of the end zone. Touchdown Warriors. These two are so fun to watch. Vincent in the Wildcat formation. It takes it up the left side. Touchdown Warriors. Ramirez throws a second interception to Drew Harden. Shite quarterback blast. Goes to the left side. Touchdown Warriors. Malachi Jefferson sacks Ramirez in the end zone for a safety for the Warriors. Jaden scores the dagger for the Warriors.
It's week 7, and the Atlanta's 0-2 in region play, heading into this game with a 4-2 record on this season. They are playing Catawba Ridge, Coast Hastings, second most hated team in South Carolina. This is a big game. The Warriors lost in heartbreaking fashion after being stopped on the 1-yard line in overtime. After going 1-3 in regional play, Indian Land had to travel to Columbia to take on the returning state champs, 9-1 AC Flora. Indian Land lost this game 10-34 after going into halftime with a 4-point lead.
Shite finds his trusty target Drew Harden in the end zone for 6. Miles Stinson forces a fumble for Indian Land. Vince Savin, JT Knight, strip sack for Indian Land, balls out. Warriors recover to Indy half.
The 2021 Warriors showed flashes, but that losing streak after the non-conference games really set them back. Key players lost to graduation. All-star wide receiver Drew Harden, slot receivers Jeremiah and Sean, wideout Jeff Brunette, All-State linebacker Doom Keely Aden, linebacker Foster Lambert, linebacker Anthony Rodriguez, All-State defensive end JT Knight, All-Region offensive lineman Amaria McLeod, running back Kendrick Armstrong.
2022 Indian Land started off the season hot, going 4-0 and outscoring their opponents 136-14 during the stretch. The Warriors fizzled out in the regional play, finishing the regular season 6-4, forcing them to travel 2 hours out to Lawrence High School for round 1 of the playoffs. The Land boys dominated the Raiders 41-20 before advancing to the second round, where they met their match against the West Side Rams. On the defensive side, nothing much changed schematically, but on offense the Warriors threw passing out the window. With the inexperience they had at receiver, the Warriors relied heavily on the ground game, finishing the season with only 3 passing touchdowns. The offense was back on ball carriers Jaden Singletary, Miles Stinson, and quarterback Jackson Shite. Personnel-wise, Indian Land had a few transfers and 4 freshmen that made an instant impact on varsity. as well as some players who progressed and stepped up into bigger roles from the year before. On defense, junior linebacker number 8, Tamir Hickman Collins exploded onto the scene, making plays everywhere for the Warriors defense. The departure of JT Money Knight, defensive end number 50, Wilkinson Mondesir, stepped into a bigger role and he delivered. In the secondary, transfer cornerback number 11, Keon Kyles made some big-time plays on the back end. On offense, lineman number 77, Sebastian Perella, was a perfect fit for the ground and pound scheme that Coach Smada had implemented this year. On the perimeter, freshman skill guys number 14, Cam Portis, number 15, Bryson Connor, and number 18, Hayden Morris injected youth into a dead receiver room. Homecoming games are normally supposed to be a dreamlike experience, but this year for the Warriors, this game was more like a nightmare. Dalton Miller fights his way in for 6. The quarterback keeper for Jackson Scheit gets it up the middle. Goes the middle, goes left, goes right, shows a shifty moves, and he is in there for 6 for Indian Land. But the Warriors go up 14-3 going into the second quarter. Parkwood throws a prayer, and that's caught in triple coverage. Touchdown, Parkwood. Elijah Lowry rolls out. There's a floater right to the defense. Picked off. Scheit throws under pressure. Throws it. Picked off by Tim Boyd Jr. Tim Boyd Jr. takes a punt return for 6. Touchdown, Wolfpack. Connor threw a shovel at the snap, and Parkwood swarms him. 21 unanswered points in the third quarter for Parkwood. Lowry throws a touchdown to extend the lead to 17 for Parkwood. Jaden Singletary with a big chunk play to start the drive. Miles Stinson runs it in to finish the drive. Another big chunk play for Singletary. Scheit rolls left and throws a beauty to Peoples. Stinson powers his way in again for 6. That still wasn't enough as the Warriors lost 31-28 in heartbreaking fashion. Indian Land dominated this game in the trenches. Offensively and defensively, the Raiders' big boys couldn't do anything with the Warriors. Freshman receiver Hayden Morris also scored his first high school touchdown in this game on a fade ball. Next year, his name will get called a lot more. Indian Land's season ended the next week at Westside High School on a Hunter Puckett walk-off rushing touchdown. This loss was heartbreaking, but the Warriors surpassed expectations in 2022. Next season, they have a target on their backs. The question is, how will they respond? The 2023 Land Boys were arguably Indian Land's most talented team ever. This year's Warriors had 2 4-stars, sophomore Cam Portis and freshman Sequel Patterson. They also had 2 3-stars in senior Tamir Hickman Collins and junior Amarion Davis. All 4 of these guys went to a Power 4 school. On paper, this team had no weaknesses. On offense, the Warriors reloaded their receiver room with the addition of slot number 9 Chas Portis and number 3 Ricky Myers Jr. Wideouts Hayden Morris and Bryson Connor progressed from the year before to become consistent options on the outside. While receiver coach Lawrence Johnson turned this position group into the slide outs, everyone in the receiver room was a playmaker. Dual threat quarterback Jackson Scheit took a big step forward in his passing production this year as the Warriors opened up the playbook a little more. On the ground, number 14 Sequel Patterson, number 6 Devon Caldwell, Jamal Horton, and Amarion Davis were all the lead backs in a crowded running back room. Star running back Jaden Singletary suffered a season-ending ankle injury during a Warriors preseason. Trey Rodriguez, Kent Hampton, Jake Recker, Jackson Wine, and Wesley Gawley kept the Warriors solid up front. Jake went on to play at the University of South Carolina, and Trey signed with the Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, North Carolina. Kent went on to play at Independence Community College. On defense, the Warriors were led by linebackers senior Tamir Hickman, Collins, and sophomore Justin Abankwah and Mikey Johnson. The secondary was stacked with number 7 Cam Portis and number 5 Keon Kyles. On the boundaries at corner, Ricky played as the nickel back, and number 11 Eddie Veneer and number 1 Amarion Davis protected the back end on safety. This defensive line had new addition 6'5", 250-pound senior Keon Leak lined up at tackle next to junior Iverson Nunez. Seniors Devin McCurry and Chase Jones caused chaos on the edge. It's week 1 and excitement is in the air as the Warriors prepare to take on the Nation Ford Falcons.
Sequel finds Hayden Morris deep, touchdown Warriors. Jackson hits Sequel across the middle, broken tackle, and a big gain for the Warriors. Ricky Myers Jr. takes the handoff in the end zone, touchdown Warriors. Caden Barnett takes a shot up the sideline and is caught in double coverage by Josh Amio, touchdown Falcons.
Keeper left side, Sequel weaving through, still on his feet.
Scheit rolls left and launches it deep. Morris comes back to the football to make a spectacular catch. Patterson punches it in from the 2-yard line. Touchdown Land Boys.
Pass left side, complete. Touchdown, Nation Ford. He's up right side. Touchdown, Nation Ford.
The Warriors are coming into their first region game on a 4-game hot streak after dropping Game 1 to Nations Ford. Can Indian Land defend their home turf against the Cougars of York?
Amarion Davis walks into the end zone for the first Warriors touchdown. Scheit takes a beating in the pocket on back-to-back snaps.
Javarius breaks up another big run for the Cougars, putting them on the board. Davis catches it out the backfield and the Warriors strike back. Tayshawn Freeman hits a wide open Jonathan Tobias for a Cougar touchdown. Chase Jones bats the ball to himself for a Landboys interception. Jas Portis takes the kickoff 90 yards to set up the sequel quarterback keeper. Touchdown Landboys. Trey Wagner off to the edge for a huge tackle for loss. Aiden Davis punches it in on a quarterback blast to put the Warriors away. The Warriors head to the pit to seek revenge on the Vipers. At this point in history, Indian Land has yet to beat Catawba Ridge in football. Will that change tonight? Jas Portis burns his defender for the first touchdown of the game. Myers Jr. sets the tone early with a big hit, following by back-to-back Warriors tackles for losses. Sequel Patterson starts the drive with a big return and finishes it off with a quarterback keeper to extend the lead. Devin Latimer takes a shot deep and is intercepted by Camden Portis. Patterson breaks off a big run into Copperhead territory. Hayden Morris dunks on Josh Dobson for a Warriors touchdown. Latimer escapes the pressure and takes off for a Catawba Ridge touchdown. Morris makes a circus catch in the back of the end zone to seal the game for the Warriors. Freshman LaVarge Lucas takes the kickoff all the way back for 6 to start off the game for the Warriors. Running back LaDamian Martin takes inside the 5 for the Yellow Jackets, setting it up for 1st and goal. Christian Hall motions this guy out, throws a slant, touchdown Yellow Jackets. Hall throws it to Chase Bird, who makes a contested catch in the end zone for 6. Shite to Myers Jr. for a big gain. Shite powers his way in for 6. Paul to Bird once again. Touchdown Yellow Jackets. Sequel throws it up to Morris and makes the tough grab. Sequel in the Wildcat takes it up the middle and has a shifty spin move as he gallops his way in the end zone for 6. Touchdown Indian Land. Sequel takes a jet sweep and he takes it down the side of the boundaries, and he is going to be untouched for 6 for Indian Land. This guy is a playmaker. Paul the Bird once again, first down. Martin takes it up the right side, and he is gone. Bye-bye, Yellow Jackets, touchdown.
The 2024 Warriors had a completely different identity from the year prior. With the departure of seniors Jackson Scheidt, Tamir Hickman, and Jake Recker, new leaders needed to step up. The South Carolina transfer portal was not kind to Indian Land this year. Ricky Myers, Caden Morris, and the Portis brothers transferred out, as well as Justin Abenqua, leaving on the defensive end. The new look Warriors offense centered around freshman quarterback Matt Casilla. Receivers Sequel Patterson, LaVorge Lucas, and Bryson Connor helped the young quarterback develop fast. Jamal Horton took over as the top running back in the rotation, with Amarion Davis spelling him. Senior Kent Hampton and junior center Jackson Wine led the Warriors up front on the offensive side. On defense, new faces Jackson Connor, Bailey Curzel, and Mike Foster made a big impact. Seniors Christian Butts, Damian Hernandez, and Leonard Guthrie stepped into bigger roles this season as well. The Land Boys finished the season 6-6, winning a home playoff game before falling to Northwestern in the second round. Patterson punches it in from the 1-yard line to give the Warriors a 2-score lead. Quarterback Casey Knupp keeps it for himself. CJ Petrie forces a fumble recovered by Indian Land. 4-star Malik Clark reverses field on a screen pass to burn the Land Boys for a Bearcat touchdown. Patterson answers right back with a quarterback keeper touchdown. Knupp throws a jump pass to his tight end for a Rock Hill touchdown. Clark reels in a slant on the next series to take the lead for the Bearcats. LaVorge Lucas strikes back for the Warriors with an explosive kickoff return, followed by a jet sweep. Dakota Simpson extends Indian Land's lead to 7 on the 2-point conversion. Knupp fires to the Caden Watkins across the middle to tie the game. Knupp, under pressure, throws a dart across the middle for the go-ahead score. This game was Indian Land's first home playoff game at the new stadium, and they dominated. Horton dives into the end zone for a Land Boys touchdown. Elijah McMahon takes the kickoff back for Eastside's last touchdown of the season. The Warriors answer like that. Casilla hits an impressive seam shot to Lucas for a 70-yard Warriors touchdown.
And off up the middle, Horton hits Hoffman. 40, 30, 20, 10. Pass intercepted by the Warriors. Still on his feet. Cross midfield. 40, 30, 20. Touchdown Warriors!
2025 was Indian Land's best season in school history. The Warriors averaged 33.7 points per game, and they finished the season with an 11-2 record and a trip to the upper state championship. This explosive offense led by sophomore quarterback Matt Casilla. He passed for 3,000 yards and finished the season with 26 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. In the backfield with him, running back Jamal Horton rushed for 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns. Sophomore Christian Hunt shared the workload with 5 touchdowns and 300 yards on the ground. Hayden Morris returned back to Indian Land for his senior year, so the Warriors had a 3-headed snake in him, Patterson, and sophomore Kenneth Wilson. The offensive line was headlined by seniors Jackson Wine and Curtis Sullivan.
On defense, the front seven caused chaos. On the line, Clemson commit Mike Foster and senior Samuel Asadou screamed off the edge. Sophomore Kent Perry and junior Liam Steffen caved the pocket and from the interior. Junior Jackson Connor led the Warriors defense alongside senior Mikey Johnson. Junior Ty Felliker rounded out this punishing linebacker core. The Land Boys secondary was a 5-man rotation featuring seniors Bryson Connor, Bailey Carzell, Noah Terry, and Sequel Patterson. Junior KJ Drakeford played the nickel.
We put it at the top of the suite. Point the camera on them. Point the camera on them. Nothing. Look. Put him to sleep. Josh Dobson, overrated.
Indian Land dominated the Copperheads 34-7 at the pit. The Warriors defense forced 4 turnovers, with 2 of them being brought back for touchdowns. Quarterback Noah Terry was the player of the game. He was responsible for forcing 3 out of the 4 turnovers in that game. This rivalry wasn't even a contest this year. Week number 7 showcased the regular season dominance the Land Boys showed throughout the 2025 seasons. This game was the definition of a shootout, with the final score being 43-41. Both teams flew up and down the field with completely different styles of play. TL Hanna ran a wing T ground-focused attack that threw in a pass every once in a while to keep the defense honest. With starting running back Jamal Horton out due to injury, Indian Land went with a passing-focused attack that exposed the TL Hanna secondary. Young quarterback Matt Casilla fed Patterson, Wilson, and Morris. The Warriors started the game out of sync, but in the final 5 minutes, down 41-29, they scored 14 points to give the Yellow Jackets a loss that will sting them for the next few years. The play of the game was a 90-yard passing touchdown from Patterson to Morris to take the lead in the final 2 minutes. The first game between these two finished with a final score of 51-13. This rematch was Indian Land's chance to avenge that loss. Northwestern started the game off with 24 points unanswered on the back of quarterback Xavier Means. After a Macacia interception, Indian Land would respond with a stop and a touchdown to get on the board.
Touchdown, Warriors.
The Warriors defense forced a fumble on the next series, and Indian Land capitalized with a beautiful back shoulder ball from Casilla to Morris for a Land Boys touchdown. Northwestern would respond quickly with another Xavier Means rushing touchdown. Another Trojans touchdown by Nigel Smith spelled the end to a historic Warrior season. Juniors Matt Casilla and Kenneth Wilson were big-time contributors as underclassmen, and that trend will continue for the next two seasons. Seniors KJ Drakeford, Ty Fallaker, Jackson Connor, and Jebez Felters will be a big part of the Warriors' success this season as well. The transfer portal was kind to the Warriors with the arrival of linebacker Jalen McCory from Nation Ford and receiver Isaiah Thomas from Catawba Ridge. Young playmakers like Sebastian Piotrowski, MJ Connor, and VJ Simon have me excited to see what the Warriors' bright future brings.
Yo, it's ZK. Huge shout out to Apex Productions and CC3 Visuals. Without them, this video would not have been possible. Go subscribe and support their channels.